Welcome to the reading of the 9th chapter of the book, The Power of the Spoken Word by Florence Scovel Shinn. My name is Nse, and I will be reading this chapter along with you. Chapter 9, Victory and Fulfillment. Victory and fulfillment are two wonderful words. And since we realize that words and thoughts are a form of radioactivity, we carefully choose the words we wish to see crystallized. Life is a crossword puzzle. The right words give you the answer. Many people are rattling off destructive words in their conversation. We hear them say, "I'm broke," "I'm sick." Remember, by your words you will be justified, and by your words you are condemned. You are condemned by them because they do not return void. Change your words and you change your world, for your word is your world. You choose your food and the world is now calorie conscious. People no longer eat buckwheat cakes, beef steak, potatoes, pie, and 3 cups of coffee for breakfast. To keep down weight, they eat dry toast and orange juice. This is tremendous discipline, but they are working for results. Why not try a diet of the right words? For you are literally eating your words. That is the value of the affirmation. You are deliberately building up a constructive idea in your consciousness. Your consciousness may be crammed and jammed with destructive ideas, but continually making a statement of truth will dissolve these negative thought forms. These thought forms have been built up from your own vain imaginings. Perhaps as a child you were taught that life is hard, happiness fleeting, and the world was cold and unfriendly. These ideas were impressed upon your subconscious, and you found things just as they were predicted. With the knowledge of truth, all these external pictures may be changed, for they are only pictures, which change as our subconscious belief change. When I tell people about the power of the word, and that words and thoughts are a form of radioactivity and do not return void, they say, "Oh, is it as easy as that?" Many people like things difficult and hard to understand. I believe that was the reason the amazing simple teachings of Jesus Christ were forgotten after a few hundred years. People build up creeds and ceremonies which they only half understand. Now, in this 20th century, the secret things are being revealed and we are again having primitive Christianity. Ask, believing, thou shalt receive. We know that our beliefs or expectations are impressed upon the subconscious and carried out. We might say, if you ask not believing, you will not receive. Faith creates expectancy. This infinite intelligence upon which man draws his supply is called Jesus Christ, your Heavenly Father, the Father within. He described as a kind, loving parent desirous of pouring all good things upon his children. Fear not, little flock, it's your Father's good pleasure to give to you the kingdom. He taught that God's law was simply a law of love and goodwill. Love your neighbor as yourself. Do unto others as you would be done by. Any violation of the law of love causes a short circuit. The way of the transgressor is hard. God is immutable law. I am the Lord. Law I change not. Divine ideas are immutable, not subject to change. What wonderful words. Immutable, not subject to change. A woman came to me filled with tears and foreboding. She said for years she had been pursued by the fear that even if she would receive the desire of her heart, something would happen to spoil it. I gave her the statement. The divine plan of your life is a perfect idea in divine mind, incorruptible and indestructible, and cannot be spoiled in any way. A great load was lifted from her consciousness. For the first time in years, she had a true feeling of joy and freedom. Know the truth, and the truth gives you a sense of freedom. Soon, then comes the actual freedom on the external. This supreme intelligence is what man becomes one with when he speaks the word. This supreme intelligence awaits man's direction, but he must have right of way. He must not be limited. Divine activity in your body brings health. There is only one disease, congestion, and one cure, circulation. Congestion and stagnation are the same thing. People say they have got into a rut. A new idea will take them out of the rut. We must get out of the rut of negative thinking. The word enthusiasm in the dictionary is defined to be inspired or possessed by God. Enthusiasm is divine fire and kindles enthusiasm in others. To be a good salesman, you must be enthusiastic about the articles you're selling. If you're bored with your business or uninterested, the fire goes out and no one else will be interested. A woman came to me for success in business. She said, I have a shop, but it's usually empty. I do not bother to open it until late in the day. What's the use? I replied. There is indeed no use so long as you feel the way you do, you are keeping people away. Become enthusiastic over what you have to sell. Be enthusiastic about yourself. Be enthusiastic about the God power within you, and get up early to open your shop and be ready for the big crowd. By this time, she was all wound up with divine expectancy. She dashed down to her shop as early as possible, and people were waiting outside and poured in all day. People often say to me, treat my business. I say, no, I will treat you, for you are your business. Your quality of thoughts penetrates every article for sale and all conditions connected with it. Jesus Christ was divinely enthusiastic about the message he had to bring to the Father within each man. He was enthusiastic by faith. He told the people that whatsoever they ask in his name would be given to them. It was a message of asking and receiving. He told them just how to comply with spiritual laws. Ask, believing, thou shalt receive. When you pray, believe you have it. Why are you fearful, O ye of little faith? After 2,000 years, his divine fire is rekindled in the consciousness of all truth students. We are having a Christian's renaissance, a new birth, a revival of Christianity. He taught a universal principle without greed or ceremony. We see members of all religions, denominations coming into this truth movement. It does not take them away from their churches. In fact, many clergymen are now teaching what the metaphysicians are teaching. For Jesus Christ is the greatest of all metaphysicians, because he proved his principles and brought miracles to pass. He sent forth his disciples to preach the gospel and heal the sick. For about 300 years his message survived. Then his divine fire was lost and the words, "Be thou healed," were no longer spoken. Creed and ceremony took their place. Now we see people flocking to these truth centers to be healed, blessed, and prospered. They have learned to pray aright and have understanding faith. A woman told me of an answered prayer. Her son wrote to her that he was going to Southern California on a business trip in his car. She read in the morning paper of a flood, and she immediately spoke the word for divine protection. She had a great feeling of security. She knew he would be protected. She soon heard from him saying his business had interfered with his leaving, so he was detained. If he had left when he had expected, he would have been in the flood district. We become divinely enthusiastic about our answered prayers, which we call demonstration, for it means that we have demonstrated the truth and have been set free from some limitation. The 24th Psalm is one of the most enthusiastic of the many psalms of praise and thanksgiving. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. The gates and doors symbolize man's consciousness. As you are lifted up in consciousness, you contact the superconscious, the God within, and the King of glory comes in. The King of glory lifts your burdens and fights your battles, solves your problem. The average person has a difficult time letting the King of glory come in. Doubt, fear, and apprehensions keep the doors and gates locked against your good. A student told me of a situation which she attracted by negative thinking. She had been invited to a gathering of old and valued friends. It was of utmost importance for her to be there. She was so anxious to go, she said to herself repeatedly, "Oh, I hope nothing happens to interfere." The day of the reception arrived and she awoke with a terrific headache. At one time, she had been subject to these headaches, going to bed for several days, but she had not had one for many years. Her doubts and fears had attracted this disappointment. And she called me up and said, "Will you please speak the word that I will be well by evening to go to the reception?" I replied, "Why, of course. Nothing can interfere with God's perfect plan." So I spoke the word. Later, she told me of her miracle. She said in spite of the way she felt, she prepared to go. She cleaned her jewelry, got her dress ready to wear, and attended to every detail, though she felt scarcely able to move. Very late in the afternoon, she said she had a peculiar sensation of a fog lifting in her consciousness, and she was perfectly well. She went to the reception and had a wonderful time. I believe that the healing might have come more quickly had she not said, "I want to be well by tonight." We are continually limiting ourselves by our words. So not until night was she perfectly well. By your word you are justified, and by your word you are condemned. I knew a man who was the center of attraction wherever he went, because he was enthusiastic about something. Whether it was about shoes, clothes, or haircut, he enthused others into buying the same things. He did not gain anything material by it. He was just naturally enthusiastic. Someone had said, if you want to be interesting to others, be interested in something. An interested person is an enthusiastic person. We often hear people say, "Do tell me what you're interested in." Many people are without vital interest and are hungry to hear what others are doing. They are usually the ones who keep the radio turned on from morning till late at night. They must be entertained every minute. Their own affairs do not hold enough interest. A woman once said to me, "I love other people's affairs." She lived on gossip. Her conversation constantly of, "I was told," "I was given to understand," or "I heard." It is needless to say she is now paying her karmic debt. A great unhappiness has overtaken her and everyone knows about her affairs. It is dangerous to neglect your own affairs and take an idle curiosity in what others are doing. We should be busily engaged in perfecting ourselves, but take a kindly interest in others. Make the most of your disappointments by transmuting them into happy surprises. Transmute all failure into success. Transmute all unforgiveness into forgiveness. All injustice into justice. You will be kept busy enough perfecting your own affairs. you won't have time to run other people's affairs. Jesus Christ aroused the enthusiasm of multitudes by performing miracles, healing the sick and raising the dead. And a great multitude followed him because they saw his miracles which he did for them that were diseased. As we read this, we feel the enthusiasm of the multitudes which followed him. With him all things were possible, for he knew that he and the Father were indeed one. With divine enthusiasm, I bless what I have. I look with wonder at their increase. This brings us to the end of the reading of the book, The Power of the Spoken Word by Florence Scovel Shinn. As always, I want to know what resonated with you as you listen to the reading of this book. I welcome your questions and your comments. Leave them in the comment section below and I would respond to you. If you enjoyed the reading of this book and other materials on this channel, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, like, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Also, share this content with a friend. Tell another friend to tell another friend about the power of the spoken word. Till we see again, it's goodbye and God bless.